It's time now for Countywide, a special presentation of Yavapai Broadcasting News. Join News Director Paul David and News Editor Philip Katafamo as they talk with our community's leaders, newsmakers, and people in the know. You'll hear about the hot topics in Yavapai County that affect all our lives. And now here's today's Countywide.
Welcome to Countywide. I'm Paul David. As always, it is great for you to join us. I have Laser President Spike Hicks with me today on the phone. Website for you is laser-shelter.org. Phone number is 928-713-1331. Of course, we'll repeat those over and over during the show. LASER stands for Large Animal Shelters and Emergency Readiness. Spike, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
It's good to have you. Let me ask you the very first question. How did LASER come about?
Well, we found a need during the Dose fire to shelter large animals in front of any emergency evacuations that people might have. It was really the first time it came up when Williamson Valley was being threatened. Always in the past, some 9 fires since 2002, Animal Disaster Services have been taking care of small animals, household pets, dogs and cats. And when the Dose fire came about, we had the need to shelter some large animals, and we were able to take over at the rodeo grounds and start taking in large animals in addition to what Animal Disaster Services was taking in as the small animals. And so when we discovered that need came about in 2019, we were able to form LASER, Large Animal Shelters and Emergency Readiness, and take care of larger barn animals. And it just blossomed from there. And it was followed by the Goodwin fire, where 7,500 people were evacuated, and we took in over 200 animals. We were able to take over the fairgrounds out at the Coors Event Center and set up shop there, and it's just been going ever since then.
It's kind of funny what you don't think about. You know, we've had multiple wildfires over the years that we've broadcast about, and you're right, Animal Disaster Services, they get the pets, and I think even goldfish and turtles and dogs and cats and things like that. But then we did, the Dose fire, the Yarnell Hill fire, and then the Goodwin fire in Mayer. Yeah, I do remember that all of a sudden it was like, wait a minute, we've got horses now, we've got goats, pigs, sheep. And you mentioned when we talked prior to doing the show is that the cattle's not necessarily there. Maybe we should talk a little bit about that, and we'll get into that. But let me ask you this right now. Now, I was thinking about this morning, and I was getting ready to sit down and do the show with you today. Is I grew up on a small hobby farm, so we had geese and ducks and things like that. So, not that big a deal, and they're small animals. But we are talking about like cattle and horses and llamas and alpacas and goats, and some of those things were showing up when those fires were going on, the Dose fire and the Goodwin fire. If I were to volunteer for your group, and we're going to talk about volunteering too in the show here today, I would not necessarily have the skills to be able to handle some of the animals that would be coming in. What is the training like for the folks that do volunteer for the group? Well,
we have 3 levels of training. Level 1 is the taking in of the animals, the reporting of the animals, the paperwork, and the sit-down process of checking in animals and getting them properly recorded. Then it's turned over to the level 2 volunteers who actually have gone through a training process and learn how to handle large animals. In addition to the other animals that we have, we took in pigs and chickens and ducks and geese and peacocks and llamas, and it was a learning process. And so we activated our training to incorporate handling of all sorts of animals. Then the level 3 volunteers are those that learn how to manage the whole process, oversee everything. And so all that training goes into the volunteer process, and people can choose what level they want to operate at.
It's got to be kind of a challenge because these, of course, as we talked about, they're much larger animals. Now, you've mentioned 2 locations. I remember the Dosey fire. It was the Prescott Rodeo Grounds that opened up, and it was like, oh, this is a relief. And I remember doing news during that fire. We had a lot of people reach out and say, hey, look, I've got some extra stalls, or I've got this pen over here that they could put animals in. And people just came out of the woodwork in terms of areas where, you could actually house these large animals and take care of them until the wildfire had passed and everybody could take them back home. You probably have several locations within Yavapai County that can be opened up almost immediately for you when a wildfire presents itself. Is that right?
Yes. Well, we're working on it. We have to establish a memorandum of understanding with any of the organizations that we go to use as shelter sites. But we try to keep it at one site for our sheltering, and through our education process, we encourage people to work out a sheltering area among friends. If that fails, or if they don't do that process, we're available and we can shelter anything. But we can't spread our volunteers too thin over one particular event. So we are in the process of going around. Besides the rodeo grounds and the fairgrounds, we're working on getting a site in Chino Valley, and then we're also having our plans to get into Black Canyon City and the Verde area. So we're working on that, but we haven't gotten all of that done yet. We're working on it.
Well, from what I remember, the PSA that was sent to me this week, and which spurred me to give you a call and set this interview up with you, is one of the things you are working on right now. That's what the PSA was about, that you're looking for places, sizable places, where these animals could be housed.
That's it, exactly. Yeah. And we're seeking donations and not only of just money, but corrals, too. We can use corrals. In order to completely set up the site, we figured it's around $45,000 if we bought all new materials. But we can take in used corrals and panels and things like that and set them up at the areas where we have the memorandum of understanding.
Where are you housing all this stuff between fires?
Well, right now it's out at the fairgrounds. We have a lot of panels that are knocked down and are stashed out at the fairgrounds, and we work closely with county facilities who will help us set up if we need the help, and if it's a really big fire and we need to get to those panels and set them up. Yavapai County Facilities is working closely with us to help us set them up.
Okay. All right. Let's take our first break. How's that sound? We're going to take our first break. We're talking with Large Animal Shelters and Emergency Readiness President. It's Laser President Spike Hicks. The website is laser-shelter.org. Phone number to get a hold of Spike is 928-713-1331. I'll say that again, 928-713-1331. Stick around. Countywide back in just a couple minutes.
From inspiration to installation.
If you need help with your decorating plan, call the pros at the Picture Window. We are your #1 source for top quality blinds, shades, shutters, and flooring. We've been in business here for 41 years, and our delightful sales staff has decades of experience. We're the locally awarded Best of the Best in both Sedona and the Verde Valley.
Don't pass up a free estimate on your project. Call the Picture Window now.
Paul Stanley here with Stanley Steel Structures. We offer shade structures that provide style, value, and performance. Our Equinox louvered roof opens and closes to give you the ultimate patio experience. We also offer Alumawood shade covers that looks like wood but lasts like steel and never needs painting or maintenance. Visit us at StanleySteelStructures.com. Contact us today and be covered tomorrow. Stanley Steel Structures. Let us add some space to your place.
Been hearing about the crazy benefits of CBD? Find out how CBD can help you at Sedona's #1 resource, CBD Sedona. Come in for a free consultation and let our trained medical staff help you find the perfect product for you. Pain-relieving salves, full-spectrum oils, honeys, teas, cookies, and even CBD for pets. Ready to feel fantastic? Come on by CBD Sedona today.
Turning your real estate dreams and goals into reality, I'm Claudel Johnson with Berkshire Hathaway Home Services. For more than 7 years, I've helped both real estate buyers and sellers put me and my team's extensive knowledge of the Sedona and Verde Valley area to work for you. Come see a 4-bedroom, 2-bath home with a 2-car garage. 110 Sagebrush Way in the wonderful Cottonwood Ranch subdivision is recently remodeled and waiting for you. Call us today and turn your real estate goals into reality. Claudel Johnson at Berkshire Hathaway Home Services of Arizona.
Welcome back to Countywide. We're sitting down with Laser President Spike Hicks. Laser stands for Large Animal Shelters and Emergency Readiness. Website again is laser-shelter.org. Phone number is 928-713-1331. That'll put you right in touch with Spike Hicks. Now, we've talked about large animals. Everyone knows what we're talking about, and this came up a few years ago where all of a sudden it's like, wow, what are we going to do with all these large animals with this wildfire going on? So we're aware of that. That's a situation that can definitely come up. On your website, there was a large animal evacuation kit. Now, I've talked about dog and cat kind of evacuation kits, have the food, the prescriptions, and things like that. What kind of things should people who have barnyard animals think about having in their evacuation kit, Spike?
Well, what we do is we encourage people to get maybe a trash can that's on wheels that you can move around easily, and you put things in there like halters for your horses. And we encourage you to use a breakaway halter, preferably leather, because if your animal is in a halter and gets near heat, the synthetics might melt. So we encourage people to buy a leather halter that's a breakaway, and put a short lead rope on it, maybe cut a lead rope in half, so that it doesn't drag on the ground. And in you're ordered to evacuate, you use that halter, put it on the animal. One of the things that we found out was that if people haven't practiced, they may not be able to get a frightened animal into their trailer. And as a last resort, and they have to turn them loose, that short halter won't drag on the ground or get tangled up in anything. And if it does, the breakaway allows them to get out of the halter. That's just one thing that we encourage them to do. We put in that trash can: halters, lead ropes, maybe a hose, some water buckets, and maybe a bag of grain, flashlights, a knife, an all-purpose knife, and anything else that you can think of that you might need if you have to throw it into your trailer and get the heck out of there. And we can always use some of that when you arrive at our shelter. But you have to think about getting your animal out and into a safe area, and we provide that shelter area.
Now, how about food? That's got to be quite an expensive endeavor there, too. Should they be bringing food with them, or do you have food that you can get a hold of?
We've been able to set up a good working relationship with some of the like some of the places like Olson's and Tractor Supply and
feed stores,
and feed stores, and they have always come through in the past. We have been able to guarantee that the animal, when it arrives, will have either grass or alfalfa, grass and or alfalfa available at the shelter site, and we have set up a process where we feed twice a day. They immediately get water when they get checked into the stall, and if they need grass or alfalfa feed, we provide that too. And then later on, if we take in pigs or other animals that require a different kind of feed, a phone call is really all we've had to do, and those companies come through for us.
That's pretty much the beauty of Yavapai County, isn't it?
That is.
Yeah, we come together pretty well, don't we?
Oh, man. The help has always been there, and it's been welcomed.
I hear that so many times over all these years doing this, that when disaster strikes, everybody comes together really, really well in Yavapai County. I think that's amazing. Let me ask you this one. So I know Animal Disaster Services usually sets up right next door to the Red Cross, so people who have their pets can easily go from the shelter to the animal shelter to, check on their dogs and their cats, and, that's important when that's happening. I can't imagine it's any less important for somebody who has maybe they got their favorite alpaca or their favorite llama. They definitely have their favorite horses and animals. How is the coming and going of people when they do bring their animals to the shelter? How does that work out to where I could come in and see my animals? Is there any restrictions in terms of that?
We do restrict it. No one is allowed in over 18, and they have to be accompanied by one of our volunteers if they do come in. We kind of try to discourage too much activity around it because we're limited in the number of volunteers, and some of these sites are pretty big, and it's hard to make sure that there's not someone in there that doesn't belong. So we watch who comes and who goes. But if there's anything special that needs to be done, we arrange for that at the time of the take-in so that we're aware of it. We have people there 24/7. And so that we're always aware of what's going on, and so if we limit the number of people that are coming in, it's easier for us to handle.
Okay.
But we'll work with them.
That makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, less people roaming around is easier to keep track of everybody that's supposed to be there. Now, you mentioned when we were talking prior to doing the show that cattle is not something you can really take. What can people do that have cattle that are, say, I guess they're free range. They're just out there. So what do they do about the cattle they're not going to be able to bring them to a shelter, and they can probably keep them on the property, but what should they do if they do have cattle and a wildfire is approaching?
Well, we found in past fires that the ranchers have thought about this because grasslands burn fast, and so over the years I think that they've worked it out among themselves to take care of the cattle. I know during the Goodwin fire, a trailer load of cattle showed up at our facility and would have really overwhelmed us. So we were able to work out an agreement with another rancher to take that particular trailer load of cattle, and it worked out well. We helped them, and we got the cattle at a safe spot. But during that fire, we came to find out that the ranchers have worked it out pretty much for themselves over the years, many years of being faced with these grassland fires and the threat to the cattle. So they work among themselves, and that's what we encourage them to do.
I think I've seen people actually spray paint their phone number on the side of the animal, on the fur, on the hair, and then that way, if it happens to go someplace where it's not supposed to be, and somebody comes across us, they could just call the phone number and say, "Hey, I've got one of yours down here." And I think that's kind of one of the things they've been doing too. We have to take another break. Large animal shelters and emergency readiness president Spike Hicks is with me on the phone today for Countywide. The website is laser-shelter.org, and the phone number is 928-713-1331. This is Countywide. We'll be back in just a couple minutes.
Orkin has pest control down to a science.
When your business chooses Orkin's Precision Protection Program, you get a tailored pest control program for your specific industry and environment.
Your business can benefit from over a century of experience, training, and scientific knowledge that define the Orkin man.
Maximum protection, minimum exposure, backed by one of the industry's most comprehensive guarantees.
Choose your locally owned and operated Northern Arizona Orkin and get more than an exterminator. Get an expert.
Award-winning Soundbites Grill is an entertainment restaurant located in Uptown Sedona at the Hyatt Pinion Point Resort. Open for lunch and dinner, featuring fresh fish, all-natural hand-cut beef, even a full vegan menu. Family-friendly, open 11:30 to 9. Late dining on Friday and Saturday. Soundbites Grill has some of the best views of the Sedona Red Rocks. Offers world-class entertainment, food, fun, and music.
Are you struggling to overcome an addiction, depression, insomnia, or a weight problem? Then it's time for you to meet with Dr. Elaine Kissel, award-winning, world-renowned hypnotherapist, author, and mind trainer. Now you can get her help from the privacy and comfort of your own home. Let Elaine Kissel create a personalized hypnotherapy plan to overcome your problem forever. Call 844-4KISSEL now for a discounted evaluation appointment. That's 844-4KISSEL.
So, I just moved in with his family, and it's embarrassing. The little one, he likes to go outside and crawl around in the giant litter box. I don't know what he's doing. I mean, I was born and I knew how to use the litter box. Look at that! That's disgusting! Oh, poop already! You're making me nervous. Oh, okay, I can't look at this anymore. I really hope he grows out of this, for his sake.
Welcome back to Countywide. Just a few minutes left in the program. We're sitting down with Laser President Spike Hicks. Laser stands for Large Animal Shelters and Emergency Readiness. Again, the website, laser-shelter.org. Phone number for Spike is 928-713-1331. Let's talk volunteers, donations, and about some of the folks that have helped you out a little bit.
Well, I have a short list of the past companies that have helped us out, and if I could give you those, I'd just like to give them a little. That's True Value Hardware in Prescott, John DeAngelis of Signs Online, Home Depot in Prescott, Ace Hardware in Chino Valley, Olson's Grain and Feed, Granite Mountain Stables, Tractor Supply, and Staples have all helped us in the past, and we really appreciate them.
Sounds to me like you need some help from the Verde Valley side of the hill as well. We do, and we're exploring that this year because we want to get into that area. Sure.
Sometimes they have the floods down there, and it's not just wildfires that they're faced with. So
very good. There's more than one disaster.
Year-round.
Yeah, that's very good. There is more than one disaster. How easy is it to volunteer for you?
It's very easy. Phone call to me will do it, and we'll set you up with our volunteer trainer right away. We currently have 43 volunteers that are completely trained at least one level. We're hoping to grow to 150 over the next couple of years, and that will allow us to expand into the Verde area, where we have some people that are being trained now.
Okay, but we could definitely use more help from the Verde Valley. And I know you're a 501c3. You're a nonprofit organization, so donations are always needed. So tell us what's the best way to do the donations.
Well, you can donate through our website, or you can send a check to Laser at P.O. Box 12782, Prescott, Arizona, 86304. So we're set up to accept donations either way.
Okay. All right. Give that P.O. Box number one more time.
P.O. Box 12782, Prescott, 86304.
Okay. P.O. Box 12782, Prescott, 86304. Laser. All right. That's all we've got time for. But yeah, if you're interested, especially the Verde Valley side, I think Spike would love to hear from you. If you've got the time and you'd like to volunteer for something like this, it seems like it'd be perfect. So the website again is laser-shelter.org. Phone number to get a hold of Spike is 928-713-1331. Spike, thank you so much for coming on the show and talking about the great program you guys have gotten started. And we wish you the best of luck. That's today's Countywide. As always, we thank you for listening, and we will talk to you again next time.